So we'll sing a bhajan that Srila Prabhupada wrote at Boston Harbor on the 18th of September 1965, when he was just entering into the US. Very famous bhajan. And somehow by Krishna's arrangement, I think for the last 2 years, I'm getting an opportunity to speak about Srila Prabhupada on his arrival day. So Srila Prabhupada's special mercy. Bodo kripa koile Krishna adhamera prati ki lagiya nile heta koro ebe goti আছে কিছু কার্য তবা এই অনুমানে নাহে কেন আনিবেনে উগ্রস্থানে রজস্তম গুণেরা সবাই আচ্ছন্ন বাসুদেব কোথা রুচি নাহে সে প্রসন্ন তবে যদি তবা কৃপা হইয়া হেতু কি সকলই সম্ভবা সকলই সম্ভবা হয় তুমি সে কৌতুকী কিভাবে বুঝালে তারা বুঝে সেই রস এটা কৃপা করো প্রভু করি নিজ বশ তোমারা ইচ্ছায়া সব হই মায়া বশ তোমারা ইচ্ছায়া নাশা মায়ার পরশ তব ইচ্ছা যদি তাধেরা উদ্ধার বুঝিবে নিশ্চয় তবে কথা সে তোমারা ভগবতের কথা সে তব অবতারা ধীরা হইয়া শুনে যদি কানে বারবার शृण्वतां स्वगतः कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनः हृद्यन्दस्तोह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतां नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी तदा रजस्तमो भावाः कामलोभादयश्च ये चेतयेतेरना विद्धं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते भिद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे रजस्तमोहते तबे पाइबे निस्तारा हृदय भद्रशते घुचिबे ताहारा কি করে বুঝাব কথা বারো সেই চাহি ক্ষুদ্রামি দীনাহীনা ক্ষুদ্রামি দীনাহীনা কোন শক্তি নাহি অথচ এনেছ প্রভু কথা বলিবারে যে তোমার ইচ্ছা প্রভু করো এবারে अखिला जगत गुरु बचने से आमार अलंकृता करिबार क्षमता तुम्हारा तब कृपा हले मोर कथा शुद्ध हबे
শুনিয়া সবার শোক দুঃখ যে ঘুচিবে। আনিয়াছ যদি প্রভু আমার না চাতে, না চাও প্রভু, না চাও সে মতে। কাষ্টের পুতলি যতা নাচ সে মতে। ভক্তি নাই বেদনায় নামে খুব দর। ভক্তি বেদান্ত নামে ভক্তি বেদান্ত নামে সাতক কর। সার্থক কর। जय वैष्णव ठाकुर, जय वैष्णव ठाकुर, जय वैष्णव ठाकुर, जय वैष्णव ठाकुर। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की, श्रील प्रभुपाद अराइवल इन USA महामहोत्सव की कीर्तनिताय गौर सीधनाथ प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्ण। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Desha Tarine. Hare Krishna. So today is the 28th of September 2021. It's a Tuesday. Gaurabdha calendar states this is the Padmanabha Masa and it is a Krishna Paksha Saptami. On 28/9/1965, the same day in 1965 was Gaurabdha Padmanabha Masa Gaura Paksha Chaturthi. But as per the calendar, which is a solar calendar, on the 9th of September 1965, Srila Prabhupada reached New York. 9th of September 1965, which is a Krishna Paksha Saptami. Very auspicious day. And Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that Aji se shubhi dine tumar smarana bhela baro asha dakilam thai ami tomar nitya dasa tai kori eta asha tumi bina anna gati nai. So Srila Prabhupada saying, today that remembrance of you came to me in a very nice way. This was written by Srila Prabhupada on September 13, 1965 on board the Jaladuta. So he says, Ami tomar nitya dasa tai kore eta asha tumi bina anna gati nai. I desire your association so much. I am your eternal servant and therefore I deserve your association so much. And Srila Prabhupada is conclusively saying, O Lord Krishna, except for you there is no other means of success. Except for you, there is no other means of success. So did Srila Prabhupada attain success? Yes or no? Yes. So naturally, we know, and that is why Srila Prabhupada used to always give credit to his guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine. On his instruction, he went and distributed Gauravani. So I want to first read from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, the exact portion of Srila Prabhupada's arrival in the US. So on the 19th of September, I said 9th of September, is on the 19th of September, the Jaladuta sailed into New York Harbor and docked at a Brooklyn pier at 17th Street. Which street? These are all auspicious numbers. Anything related to Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada saw the awesome Manhattan skyline, the Empire State Building, and like millions of visitors and immigrants in the past, the Statue of Liberty. Now, USA is called the land of opportunity. So the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of that. Give me your hungry, your poor, your yearning masses, your masses, teeming masses yearning to be free. This is a poem that's written about the Statue of Liberty. So US welcomes people wholeheartedly. That's the original understanding. And it's mentioned that liberty, equality, fraternity, the land of opportunity, everything. So there are many people who keep traveling into the US, immigrants. In fact, if you observe the description by Srila Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj at the Tompkins Square Park event when Srila Prabhupada was, actually that's probably the Golden Gate Park. We're not sure which video we show both. But the fact is, you can see many people there. Some of them are looking at him with a lot of suspicion, and some old ladies. And Satsvarup Maharaj explains all of those from the video. He says that people from Estonia, immigrants from Estonia, immigrants from Armenia, immigrants from other parts of Europe. Everything is explained. So extraordinary. But Srila Prabhupada was not like any of them. He was different. Srila Prabhupada was dressed appropriately for a resident of Vrindavana. Appropriately, he is a Vrindavan. Once some devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, who is a Raganuga Bhakta? So Raganuga Bhakta is one who follows the Ragatmika Bhakta or a Vrajavasi or a resident of Vraja. So then they asked Srila Prabhupada, can we conclude that you are that resident of Vrindavan? He said, yes, you can. He didn't say no also. So he was dressed appropriately for a resident of Vrindavana. He wore kanthimala, neck beads, and a simple cotton dhoti. Although Srila Prabhupada said that you should dress for others and you should eat for yourself. There are many people who are grinning and are very happy when they hear that. He did tell, Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, Guru Maharaj always quotes that, first dress, then address. So even though Srila Prabhupada was wearing a simple cotton dhoti, we can be sure that it was very neat and clean and well washed and all that. He carried a japamala, chanting beads, and an old chadar or shawl. His complexion was golden, his head shaven, shika in the back, his forehead decorated with the whitish Vaishnava tilaka. He wore pointed white rubber slippers, not uncommon for sadhus in India. One senior contemporary acharya of Iskcon said, if you get to sannyasa, there are a few symbols. There is kantha, there is tridandi, there is a Mac computer and Crocs. He was joking, because most of the sannyasis don't do that. But he was generally joking, because people keep offering gifts. So here it says that he was wearing this pointed white rubber slippers, not uncommon for sadhus in India, but who in New York had ever seen or dreamed of anyone appearing like this Vaishnava? Do you think anybody would have dreamed of seeing somebody like him in New York? You're thinking, huh? You must have dreamed. He was possibly the first Vaishnava sannyasi to arrive in New York. And his first Indian disciple is in Iskcon, is His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. With uncompromised appearance, that's the point, with uncompromised appearance. So, there was a time in Iskcon when people had multiple queries to Srila Prabhupada. They used to think, during book distribution, should one wear wigs and wear civilian clothes, or should we wear Vaishnava clothes? So as per time, place and circumstance, Prabhupada had replied both in various circumstances. Of course, New Yorkers have an expertise in not giving much attention to any kind of strange new arrival. Sometimes I feel, I keep joking in our Iskcon lectures also, if you say something like, and Krishna appeared. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed Atyanta Durlabha Prema Korivaredan Sikaya Sharanagati Bhagatira Pran. So it's like that. So it's a bit like New York was a little bit like that. So I remember, I think way back in 2008, I was traveling in the tube in London, and I was wearing dhoti kurta. I was going to the Soho Street temple, and I was having a long umbrella which I had borrowed from the hotel where I was staying. At the time I was working outside. So it was like a 45-minute journey. I think it was either Nottingham or Coventry Street. I don't know where I got on it. So it was a 45-minute journey, and I was probably the oddest man out in that whole compartment. And nobody even bothered to look at me. They were happily looking at the newspapers or on the phone or whatever. So I can understand that this is the way it will be. But if you go in India in a dhoti kurta, they will, Panditji, tell him to look at you. But Prabhupada is different. Srila Prabhupada was on his own. He had a sponsor, Mr. Agarwal. Somewhere in Pennsylvania, someone would be there to greet him. Someone may come. Although he had little idea of what to do as he walked off the ship onto the pier. He had no idea. What did Prabhupada say? I did not know whether to turn left or right. He passed through the dockside formalities. I mean, they have dockside formalities also, like your customs and green channel and blue channel and all that. So like that you have dockside formalities. He was met by a representative from Traveler's Aid. Traveler's Aid is, in US they have all these various arrangements for everything. Jai Shri Radha Parthasarthi Lalita Vishakha ki Jai. So they have a Traveler's Aid which takes care of people who arrive and take care of their facilitation. Sent by Agarwals in Pennsylvania. This is organized by the Agarwals. Jai Shri Gauranita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So Krishna gives opportunities to remember. Jai Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman ki Jai. So they offered to take him to the Scindia ticket office in Manhattan. Why? Why? Why did they offer to take him to the Scindia ticket office in Manhattan? Yeah, to book a return ticket. At the Scindia office, Prabhupada spoke with the ticket agent, Joseph Forster. These are all important names we should remember. We should have a Prabhupada quiz on the occasion of 125th anniversary for the Brahmachari ashram. For the devotees, you should have Prabhupada quiz in one of the Brahmachari lecture days. At least we will have good attendance from now by whatever. Because of a training program, we have a lot of Brahmacharis in our temple. At least for 1 year. And then the next batch will come. So this will ensure that there is sufficient attendance, so we can have that quiz. It will be nice, everybody can learn. It could be an offering to Prabhupada on the 125th anniversary by our Brahmachari ashram. Doesn't take too much work, everybody has to just study a little bit of Leelamrita. If you want, I can do the quiz. Who was impressed by this unusual passenger's Vaishnava appearance, his light luggage and his apparent poverty. He looked poor. He regarded Prabhupada as a priest. In fact, later on, Pamela, the daughter of Sally and Gopal Agarwal, used to address Srila Prabhupada as Swami Jesus. So she knew somewhere down the line that he was a priest. But it's also mentioned in the Nectar of Instruction that Uttama Vaishnava is one by whom, looking at whom one can easily remember Krishna or God or God's Son. So either ways, if you remember Jesus, Krishna, either ways, if you remember the Lord, it is a contribution of a supreme devotee. Like we have experiences narrated by many devotees, how when Srila Prabhupada arrives in an airport and all the devotees do Sashtanga Pranam, and people who are traveling with suitcases and gross karmis, so to say, they also have obeisances. They go with the flow. It happens. That's an arrangement of the Supreme Lord. That is, devotees receive pratyaksha rupena, paroksha rupena some respect. So, most of Scindia's passengers were businessmen or families. This is the way it has been. So, Mr. Forster, some people pronounce it as Forester also, had never seen a passenger wearing the traditional Vaishnava dress of India. He found Srila Prabhupada to be a pleasant gentleman. And this is the definition of an Iskcon devotee. Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, how are your devotees like? Could you describe your devotees, please? And Srila Prabhupada said, our devotees are ladies and gentlemen. And he also said at some point of time, they are sparkling diamonds in your stinking society. So it's important that if we want to really remember Prabhupada and glorify Prabhupada, we should also remember and glorify the devotees around us. Because each one of the devotees around us is Srila Prabhupada's mercy on this temple. At a place when there was nothing. His Grace Vrajendranand Prabhu keeps saying in his lectures, saying, Jangal ko mangal kar diya, mangalarti mein log aate hain. He says Srila Prabhupada's mercy. I remember His Grace Mohanapa Prabhu mentioning in the context of Kardama Muni and Devahuti, Mother Devahuti, traveling in that city like airplane, that it was self-illuminated, Swayam Prakasha. all the pillars, because they were decked with gems, bedecked with gems. So Srila Prabhupada, His Grace Mohan Prabhu said that Srila Prabhupada's movement and this temple, or any temple of Iskcon, is also similarly bedecked with the diamonds in the form of devotees, and therefore it's self-illuminating. So it's one of our greatest offerings to Srila Prabhupada that we learn to appreciate. The culture of appreciation has to be developed amongst devotees. Even if one were to have serious difficulties with a person we have a problem with, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, with the same mouth that you have spewed venom or nectar, you should drink ambrosia or amrit. Instead of nectar, you drink poison by maligning somebody. But what do? You drink nectar. What is the option? You glorify the people. How do you glorify? Glorification need not be always that, you are a pure devotee, you are Nitya Siddha Parikara and all that. Even if you just say simple Hare Krishna and smile at somebody, it's a big thing. Hanti nindadi no dveshti no binandi na harshati, all these forms of Vaishnava parad. Knowingly, unknowingly, like Rupa Goswami got into that situation. We are Rupanugas. He set an example for us how to deal with Vaishnavas and how to be cautious of Vaishnava offenses. So, one of our offerings to Srila Prabhupada's 125th anniversary is that he arrived in the US for us. He arrived for us, for you and me. If he hadn't arrived in the US, you and I would be having this class. It's Srila Prabhupada's costless mercy. The beauty of costless mercy, you know what is the beauty? It is costless. There is no reason to distribute mercy. Once Srila Prabhupada was sitting with Govinda Dasi Mataji in Hawaii, Honolulu probably. So there was a slug or a snail is a slow moving snail, you've seen snail. After rains you will see them, very slow moving creature. It's very gluey, it's got sticky appearance, it just goes like this, very slowly it moves. So Govinda Dasi Mataji asked, what do you do? What do we do with it, Srila Prabhupada? So she kept watching. She obviously didn't want to kill it or disturb it. So she kept watching. So she asked, Srila Prabhupada, what do you do? So Srila Prabhupada said, nothing, just chant for it. Jibir Doya. Srila Prabhupada said, just chant for the snail. So, and Srimati Jadurani Mataji said once, we didn't even know how to brush our teeth. Srila Prabhupada taught us. These are all 20, 21-year-old people. So now, we shouldn't crib and cry saying that, no, I am a new bhakta. I don't know anything. This is nice. It's good to know that you don't know anything. That is a good understanding. But the fact is, like Srila Jayapataka Maharaj wrote, Jadi Prabhupada no hete gobeka hoite. So Srila Jayapataka Maharaj became a sannyasi at the age of 21 or 22. So I think we should have spiritual goals as well. Sometimes one of the best goals is just to complete 16 rounds, get through with it. But we should go beyond that. Like this morning I had a lecture I knew, but then I was a little worried. I have a tight day ahead. So I just kept pushing, okay, just one more round. I just wanted to complete more rounds before I came on to the Vyasasana. It's like Srila Prabhupada said, some devotee was chanting, all of you know this pastime. He completed a 16 round and said, so Srila Prabhupada said, so, self-realized for the day? So, it shouldn't be like that. It should be, we may not have a natural taste for chanting and hearing Shravanam Kirtanam, but this Vaidhi Bhakti is most essential, most integral to our process. Srila Prabhupada was asked, how do we develop determination? Srila Prabhupada said, one gets determination by following the regulative principles of devotional service. I have personally asked this question some 15 times to various speakers, including my Gurudev. So Srila Prabhupada said, if you don't have determination, you are an animal. You are not different from an animal. You commit to the spiritual master in front of fire, the deities, the demigod and Vaishnavas, that you will maintain the regulative principles. And if you are not doing it, then you are no different from an animal. But the answer to developing determination in following the devotional principles is Krishna Bhakti Janmamula Hoy Sadhu Sang. By the association of Vaishnavas, we get better understanding of the principles of devotional service and how we can follow. I remember yesterday I had a very important meeting to meet a huge corporate, it's a PSU, the chairman and managing director of that company. I had to go and meet him with my god brother Hanuman Prabhu. So we were preparing for that meeting. I had some things to do, and also there was a meeting. I had back-to-back meetings. Coming back from there, I had a meeting at 10:30, 11 and 12. So I was just kind of preparing and for all these meetings, and I could not attend the class yesterday. So I was working on it, and so when I came out, Hanuman Prabhu asked me this question. I didn't see you in Bhagavatam class today. And it's such a nice wake-up call. After 21, 22 years in the movement, it's important that we have to surround ourselves with people who can correct us. Acharyas say that one of the symptoms of humility is to be open to feedback. So this sort of Vaishnava Sangha is most integral for us to perform the principles of regulative principles and the principles of devotional service. And by doing so, we can develop the determination to serve Srila Prabhupada and his movement. And it is an opportunity for us that Srila Prabhupada arrived in US. Why? Like the Christians have a great prayer, John 3:16. It says, "For God so loved this world that he sent his only begotten Son, so that whomsoever believeth in him shall not die but shall have everlasting life." So the Lord sent Jesus Christ so that everybody could be delivered. So in many ways, Mora Senapati Bhakta Tataya Chai. He just goes and gets them. Jai Tathai. He goes there and gets them. Those people, Jadi Papi, Tapi Dure Deshe Jai. Those people who are most sinful, they may run away. Tikshna Khadga, Krishna's Senapati Bhakta, Gauranga Mahaprabhu Senapati Bhakta takes the Tikshna Khadga, the sharp sword of knowledge of Krishna's message to cut the ignorance. But those people who escape and go to other countries or Western countries, Mora Senapati Bhakta, he goes and gets them. India's best export is Krishna consciousness. And the best part is it doesn't belong to India. It belongs to Goloka. It is imported from Goloka. Packaging in India. Is packaged in India. Made in Goloka, made from India, packaged from India and packaged for the rest of the world. It's such a wonderful, I generally get irritated by WhatsApp forwards. I've consciously deleted myself from many groups because of that. But I got one message which was so fantastic in the Indian Continental Committee group. It was a photograph of a devotee from Rajasthan going to Antarctica with Srila Prabhupada's Vigraha. Srila Prabhupada is there everywhere on all the continents. What a return on investment, 40 rupees in hand, roughly $6 as per exchange rate. $20 obtained by selling one set of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3 volumes, to Captain Pandya. That is the capital investment he had. And spending a lifetime in preparation. But he never left till he got the first 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam ready. So that itself shows Krishnaika Sharanam, dependence on Krishna. I cannot preach on my own strength. I have to preach on the strength of these books. These books are the basis. Srila Prabhupada is setting the example. When Srila Prabhupada asked me, one of his disciples, that Srila Prabhupada, when you distribute your books and people get those books, can we assume that they all become initiated by you when they receive your books? Prabhupada said, yes, you can say that. Of course, this doesn't mean that we follow another philosophy. We should not become nitwits. You know, nitwits meaning less intelligence. Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentioned this in the Vyasa Puja celebration of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in Mumbai. I think it was in the year 2001, Prabhuji, I think we all went to Juhu, 2001, I think, when Srila Prabhupada, their disciple is known as Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, Vyasa Puja was celebrated in Juhu. And I think after that, most of the Vyasa Pujas except one or two have been celebrated in Iskcon Delhi of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So in that meeting, in that Vyasa Puja, His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj, who was a dear friend of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, said that, I don't care what those nitwits say. No, nitwits sounds like somebody else, right? People who follow different philosophy which is mentioned in your Iskcon disciple course. So nitwits means less intelligent people. So we are not talking about such people. I know by the end of this class, some of you may understand whom I am talking about. So that is why we don't have tube lights here. So Srila Prabhupada's books, he once told Hamsadut Prabhu, they are gold in the beginning, the middle and the end. These books are pure gold. So this is nice. I think I've been investing in all of you. You're clapping for a nice point. Okay. So I had a few points that I wanted to discuss with all of you, which I had noted down. Probably another 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, and then we could have Prabhuji say some few points. It's a very auspicious day, and it's important for the Yatra leader to address us on this day. So this happened at 9 a.m. Friday, 13th of August 1965, that he left from Kolkata for New York. Jaladuta. 13th August he left, and he reached on which date of September? 19th September he reached. 13th August 1970. Just imagine 36 days journey. He had seasickness, they call it thalassemia or something, dizziness, vomiting, 2 heart attacks, nobody to drop him. His books were loaded from Kochi, so that's my connection. I feel sometimes very proud that the book, Srimad Bhagavatam of Srila Prabhupada was loaded in Kochi. They have a nice memorial erected, I think, in Kochi. They had a nice festival on the anniversary of the day when it happened. But Srila Prabhupada's life, because he's a pure devotee of the Lord, an ambassador from the spiritual world, the beauty of the ambassador, do you know, is that there is something called diplomatic immunity. Do you know what is diplomatic immunity? Who can say? If we have spiritual immunity, right, if we chant the holy name, they say, Prabhupada says, calls it the vaccination. There is material immunity. Some of us have taken 2 jabs or vaccines, 2 shots of vaccine to escape from corona. Maybe a 3rd one is coming soon, booster dose. But diplomatic immunity means the local police cannot arrest you if you're from a different country. Your embassy is different. Your embassy is part of the country, but it is different. Local laws don't apply. Quite similarly, Srila Prabhupada is an ambassador of the spiritual world, Krishna's ambassador. So material laws don't apply to him. And these temples are in Vaikuntha, because within this temple, if we follow the principles and stay in devotee association, material laws don't apply to us also. Srila Prabhupada mentions that there is compilation of Srila Prabhupada quotes and quotes about Srila Prabhupada. There's a book called Spiritual Master and Disciple. How many of you have read this? It's no longer coming out in Iskcon, but from BPT is not bringing it up. But it was, I remember for my initiation preparation, I studied that book. Try to memorize all those points, all the shlokas and all that. So in that, Prabhupada mentions that the spiritual master may externally appear to be suffering, but it is just like foam and bubbles in the Ganges. The Ganges can still purify. Similarly, the spiritual master may externally appear to be suffering, but he is not suffering. The doctors were baffled. There's no skin and practically little thin skin, and there is no bone. There is no flesh, there's only bone, directly bone. It's a miracle how he is staying within the body. Just like Bhishma Deva, he was staying. Actually, disciples of Prabhupada used to really think that he is choosing his moment of death. They actually thought Prabhupada can go when he wants, and it is not far from the truth. But Prabhupada still wanted to leave it in Krishna's hands. That is one quality of surrender. Abhashya Rakibe Krishna Vishwasapalan Raksha Satiti Vishwaso. And Krishna Ika Sharanam, the Paribhasha Sutra, effectively of the 26 qualities of Vaishnavas, the defining characteristics, Mukhya Lakshana, is what? Krishna Ika Sharanam. Another quality of a pure devotee is Asha Bandha. He is forever hopeful that no matter what, Krishna will protect. Krishna will take care of. He is confident. He is completely confident. Mr. Chokshi, who is the secretary of Mrs. Morarji, asked him when he was staying in the India colony, he said, why couldn't you succeed earlier? Till now you could never go to the Western world. You could never go. So why now at this age should you go to the Western world? You know what Srila Prabhupada said? Anyone knows? He said, I know I will be able to do something good. I am sure. I know I will be able to do something good. I am sure. Did Srila Prabhupada do something good? It's not just good, he did something great. There is a famous corporate book for corporations called Good to Great. How organizations grow from good to great. How a storefront temple on 26 2nd Avenue with a handful of people got registered as Iskcon. And then itself Srila Prabhupada used to write Acharya, International Society for International Consciousness, Society for Krishna Consciousness, with a handful of 15 people sitting inside a storefront in New York. What confidence you should have in Krishna. That is Asha Bandha, complete hope that Krishna will protect. Another point that I wanted to say, Mrs. Pandya, Srila Prabhupada said, an intelligent and learned lady, Prabhupada said about Mrs. Pandya. You probably have to share all these pictures with me. I am not getting the benefit of seeing all this because I am giving the lecture. Please share everything with me, whatever you show. So Mrs. Pandya said about Srila Prabhupada, if he were to pass beyond this crisis in his health, it would indicate the goodwill of Krishna. So avashya rakhibe Krishna. Krishna tabe punya hobe, na? It's Krishna's good fortune. Bhuvana Mangala tumi Bhuvane Rapati. Krishna is that, Bhuvana Mangala. He provides, he bestows auspiciousness. That is why one of the lakshanas of bhakti is what? One of the lakshanas of bhakti is Shubhadha. It bestows auspiciousness. And Prabhupada wanted to bestow that auspiciousness. On the 20th of August 1965, what was special about that day? It was Janmashtami. And on that day, Prabhupada spoke about the philosophy of Lord Krishna to the crew about the Jaladuta. Compulsive preacher, just imagine. Seasickness, vomiting, dizziness, heart attacks, and still preaching. Compulsive preacher. So this is the quality of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada said, please don't take away from me the privilege to struggle for Krishna. So that struggling for Krishna is our biggest quality. Srila Satsvarupa Raj mentions in his book, Japa Reform, about chanting. He says this struggle is the process. We should not give up this struggle. If you're feeling sleepy in Japa or in Bhagavatam, we should stand up immediately. Doesn't matter. Falling sleepy is not the issue. Till we develop taste for the holy name, there will be sleep. But we should struggle. We may not have good relationship with devotees. Devotees may not like us. Once I remember walking to my temple president and asking him, Prabhuji, people tell that I am very political. What should I do? So Prabhuji told me, I will tell you when I think so. We should just keep struggling. सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? So Krishna consciousness is a process. We are not doing Krishna consciousness for others. We are doing it for ourselves. And His Grace Bhaktivinoda Prabhu, our senior God brother, said once, First 50% of your life, you should try to go back to Godhead. Next 50% of the life, you should track others back to Godhead. So it's an amazing learning we had. And yeah. He had no resources. Prabhupada had nothing. This is all he had. It is mentioned here. He looked a poor person, right? So no matter what we have, whether we have no resources also, we should do our best. That is what is important. Srila Chandramali Maharaj says, and I have quoted this in at least 50 lectures, that Krishna sees what you are doing for him. Krishna also sees what you can do for him, but you are still not doing. Prabhupada could have given hundreds of excuses as to why I cannot do this. Helen Keller is a lady who had no eyesight, no hearing, and no speech. She lived till 60 years, and she wrote books also. She said, as they were speaking among themselves, it cannot be done, it was done. That is why Prabhupada said, impossible is the word from the dictionary of fools. So Srila Prabhupada wrote, I am not qualified, though Guru Maharaj ordered. I am very fallen and insignificant. I am begging for your mercy, so that I may become worthy of you, of your... so that I am become worthy. Why? For you are the wisest and most experienced of all. Prabhupada is writing this about Krishna. Prabhupada is writing to Maharaj, Srimati Maharaj, neither for sightseeing or for personal interest. It is for interest of entire humanity that I am trying to implement the science of Krishna consciousness, which might actually make them happy. This is the purpose of Srila Prabhupada's arrival in the US. This is the most critical part. Prabhupada said, I am not a poor man, I am rich. Everything is there, the books, the temples, the devotees, it is only separated by time. And Prabhupada said, I am never alone. He always used to use the word we, because he knew his Guru Maharaj was always with him. That is why he would not even go to his Samadhi when he was in Mayapur. So we pray to Srila Prabhupada on the day of his arrival in the US, that he may also arrive into our hearts. Because our heart is also non-different from tada, rajas, tamo, bhava. It is also full of nirvishesha and shunyavada. So let please Prabhupada descend in the Bovary of our hearts, preach to the hippies inside us and make us happy. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji would like to say something about Srila Prabhupada. Can you please pass on the mic? Quickly.
Thank you very much for a nice presentation. You spoke about Prabhupada. So Prabhupada जब अमेरिका गए तो वहाँ पे मिश्रा जी के यहाँ पे भी रुके थे, डॉक्टर मिश्रा. So basically he was a yoga teacher, but at the same time was an impersonalist, a Mayavadi. And Prabhupada stayed there for some time, but Prabhupada was not so happy staying there because he was speaking Mayavad philosophy. And he had a fear because उनके जो विद्यार्थी थे, he was feeling very insecure कि लगा उनके स्टूडेंट जो है प्रभुपाद के पास चले जाएंगे. Because Prabhupada was very powerful and Prabhupada would cut his philosophy every single moment. So Mishra ji was saying that we are all one, Swami ji, हम सब एक ही हैं. Prabhupada said, no, I disagree with you, we are not one. Prabhupada said, I disagree with you, we are not one. So this shows we are not one. I disagree with you. Then he said, then he was speaking in this verse, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. वास्तव में भगवान कृष्ण जो है, ये भगवान कृष्ण नहीं बोल रहे हैं, उनके भीतर से और कोई बोल रहा है. And Prabhupada answered to that. Prabhupada said, okay, you believe in that Krishna, जिनके मन से कोई और बोल रहा है, जिनके भीतर से कोई और बोल रहा है. But I believe in that Krishna who speaks himself. मैं उन भगवान कृष्ण पे विश्वास करता हूँ जो स्वयं बोल रहे हैं. आप उन भगवान कृष्ण पे विश्वास करो जिनके अंदर से कोई बोल रहा है. Again we are not one. So Prabhupada was very strong. और इसका so मिश्रा जी भी बच्चा है बहुत इनसिक्योर फील कर रहे थे कि उनको लगा कि उनके स्टूडेंट्स कहीं निकल ना जाए हाथ से. Prabhupada didn't touch. Prabhupada was like a lion. तो अपना शिकार वो खुद करना चाहते थे, छोड़ा हुआ नहीं लेते थे किसी का. So then Prabhupada went alone and he stayed 26th, sorry not Bowery Street में रहना शुरू किया प्रभुपाद ने. बहुत बड़ा स्ट्रगल था प्रभुपाद जी का. Just to arrive in America alone and just to go to America, it is not easy. यहाँ से अगर कोई अमेरिका जाना चाहे, अगर आप एज आपका 70 plus है, we cannot even dream to go there, especially when he got 2 heart attacks. And so Prabhupada did miracle within a short time. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you very
Srila
much.
Prabhupada.
Yeah. So we can take questions separately because it's already 9, because including questions and comments, 9 a.m. is the closing time as instructed by His Grace Mondo Prabhu. So we'll follow that. We can have questions offline. I also want to welcome my dear friend Krishna and Prabhu from Indore. I don't know Prabhuji's name. Oh, you are Hemangni Prabhu. I spoke with you on phone when I was in Indore and Ujjain. So welcome. They are wonderful preachers. I also want to welcome Lalit Prabhu. Lalit Prabhu is a retired chief engineer from DRDO. He used to make rooms within mountains for storing nuclear warheads. So he's a good friend of mine. He's also trying to assist His Holiness Bhakti Rakshak Radha Swami Maharaj in temple projects for construction and everything. Hopefully he will get more engaged with that. So thank you very much for joining us. I pray to Srila Prabhupada that he bestows upon us the same mood of surrender that he had for his spiritual master, and I seek all of your blessings from all of you, that I may also develop the same surrender. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada arrival in USA Maha Mahotsav ki, Nitai Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande.